You've probably heard the term axis of resistance thrown around in the news, but what is it really? Today, we're going to break down this network, who the main players are, what actually drives them, and why their actions could have a huge impact on all of us. Let's dive in.
So, the first thing to get straight is that this is not some formal military alliance like NATO. The source material describes it as an ideological network. It's all built on a shared worldview of being anti-hegemonic, which basically means pushing back against domination by any single global power.
Now, this ideology isn't just some modern political idea. Its roots go way back to historical and religious events, specifically the Battle of Karbala. That event created a powerful story. You side with the victim, the underdog, against the powerful aggressor. And they apply this idea all over the world, which the source says is why the Axis has historically backed movements in places as far off as Cuba and Venezuela.
At the very heart of this network, both strategically and ideologically, is Iran. And the claim here is that Iran has spent decades, very methodically, getting ready for a major confrontation. This wasn't just a random military buildup. We're talking about a quarter century of very specific preparation, building up defenses and strategic power, almost like they were anticipating the exact conflicts that are now flaring up. So what does 25 years of prep actually look like? Well, it points to these massive, complex underground bases for missiles and drones built deep inland so they're incredibly hard to attack. It also highlights Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz, which is a critical choke point for global trade. And maybe most importantly, that the government has a high degree of popular support, suggesting the people really rallied together, even when they're under direct threat. Okay, so that's Iran. Now let's look at the other key members of this network.
First up, in Lebanon, you have Hezbollah. It really pushes back against the idea that the group is some kind of spent force. Instead, it points to events it calls the Markava massacre, claiming Hezbollah destroyed hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Israeli tanks, dealing a huge blow both militarily and financially.
Then down in Yemen, you have Ansarullah. You might know them as the Houthis, as a group that has just completely upended global commerce. By shutting down the Red Sea to ships linked to their enemies, they've shown they can impact the entire world's economy to achieve what they say is their main goal: stopping the genocide in Gaza. The resistance in Iraq is portrayed as a really battle-hardened force, one that relentlessly attacks U.S. assets. The force has the military power to invade the entire Arabian Peninsula in just a matter of hours, if they were ever ordered to do so.
And finally in Gaza, Hamas and Islamic Jihad. The key takeaway here is their survival. The fact that they're still standing, despite years of incredibly intense Israeli military campaigns, is presented as solid proof of the resistance's resilience on the battlefield. So when you put all these different pieces together, you get to a central argument that Western powers are working with a totally flawed understanding of what the axis of resistance actually is.
This slide, wow, it really lays out the massive disconnect the source is talking about. On the left, you've got the Western narrative. The axis is broken, the Iranian government is unpopular, and if you just apply more pressure, the whole thing will collapse. But on the right, you see the reality presented in the source. All the members are actively fighting, the population is actually united, and this network has been preparing for this very war for years. Western leaders start to believe their own stories, creating policies based on an imaginary Iran. And the outcome is totally predictable. It starts with a major military escalation against Iran. In this scenario, Iran doesn't just close the Strait of Hormuz. It retaliates by wiping out energy infrastructure all across the Persian Gulf. This creates a permanent crisis, which stops the flow of energy and triggers a worldwide economic depression.
And look, this isn't just about the price of gas going up. The impact would be catastrophic. It would hit natural gas, it would hit the petrochemicals that we use to manufacture everything, and, maybe most critically, it would hit fertilizers, which would be a direct threat to the global food supply.
Which leaves us with the final, critical question. If the path of escalation leads to a global catastrophe, what's the alternative?